Hello, my vegetarian felines.
What?
Hey everyone, welcome back to my Culture Shock series. This video is going to talk a little bit about being a vegetarian in China. So for this Culture Shock video, I kind of wanted to get a little bit more personal. Not really that personal, kind of personal. I don't know, you take it for what you want. I will tell you, it's not impossible to be a vegetarian in China. I think it would be a lot easier in China than it might be in the United States, depending on how strict you are as a vegetarian. I kind of wanted to talk about being a vegetarian in Zhejiang or in China in general. So a lot of people that go abroad, if you have dietary restrictions, it can be very hard for you to find decent food or food that doesn't have meat or use pig's fat or stuff like that. So in China, most people talk about meat, they're talking about pork's meat, right? Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, you guys will probably leave me comments about it. But from what I understand, in the United States we eat a lot of beef, but in China it's pork, but that's mainly what they'll eat. And when they refer to any kind of meat, like in the steam buns, it's usually
When I was
pork.
over there,
so there's the city that I was living in, they're very popular for their buns. And one of their steam buns is a red bean paste bun. And I found out when I was there that apparently they use pig's fat inside of the red bean paste to make that bun. And so I was like, well, all this time I'm like, oh yeah, I'm eating, pretty veggie-friendly things because, I don't know, that's just what I prefer. And then this guy on the line was like, no, they use pork's fat in it. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Now, if you're a vegetarian living in China, I would say that it's not that hard, especially if you're an open vegetarian. So if you're open to eating, leafy greens that they use like pork's fat to cook it in, then you should be A-okay. But if you're a pickier eater, it might be a little bit hard for you to navigate the Chinese cuisine. Now, for my non-meat eating friends, if you plan on going to China and you're a vegetarian, I would suggest you learn some Chinese phrases. But for those of you who don't speak any Chinese, I would highly suggest to befriend a wonderful Chinese person because they love to meet foreigners and practice speaking to them in English, and they will help you in all your Chinese eating issues. Now, for the most part, I think being a vegetarian in China is not a problem. It was much harder than I thought to find vegetarian options, it actually depends on what province you're in. So I felt like in the bigger cities they have a lot more options, but smaller ones, it can be a little bit harder. I mean, I've heard so many different things because China's so big, it's kind of hard to pinpoint exactly like what the cuisine is like in one specific place. I mean, when I studied abroad in Taiwan, it was so easy to find vegetarian options because there are so many Buddhists in Taiwan. And so you'll find a lot of fake meats. And so it looks like meat, but it's actually just like, like casein or tofu. So that was really nice. But in China, it's not exactly the same. I mean, personally, in the city that I was in, everything had meat. If you were a vegetarian, everyone looked at you like, what? You don't eat meat? But you come from America. They have this preconceived notion that because you're a foreigner, you have a lot of money, so you can spend it on buying a lot of meat, okay? Because in the past, Chinese people didn't really eat meat. It was a rare thing to come by, and so everyone eats it now. I don't think I met any vegetarians.
Some things you should prepare yourself for. 1, everyone will look at you like this when you tell them, I don't eat meat. Then they'll ask you, oh, do you eat chicken? Do you eat fish? I only eat vegetables. They will stare at you because they'll think you're crazy. Because nobody in China strictly eats only vegetables. Unless you're very poor or live in a place where meat is not as accessible.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And please leave any comments below or subscribe. And I'll see you next time.